Welcome in to I Remember My First Time.
Yes! So excited.
Oh, don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it!
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings,
I like the sound of that.
where we talk about the movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
All right, that sounds pretty nice.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
We love the shit out of movies. And this week's masterpiece is a strong fucking word for this shit show of a movie. But it's a 2014 classic. Another strong word for this movie. Godzilla.
Jacob, let them fight.
Is that seriously the best quote you came up with?
Can you come up with a better one?
No. This movie sucked.
Well, here we are. I am Master of the Blue Flame, BJ Leica.
Joined as always by me, ancient alpha male predator, Jacob Ekus.
So, let's get into Godzilla. A movie described by HBO Max as the King of Monsters returns to battle a deadly pair of bug-like kaiju and wreck major cities in the process in this thrilling remake.
Okay, that was pretty good, HBO.
Not bad.
Yeah. Honestly, HBO would make me too excited to watch this movie, because then I watch it and I'm like, this fucking blows.
6.4 out of 10 is what IMDb has this movie ranked.
Out of here.
76% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nuh-uh.
And 62% on Metacritic.
Fuck you. That's not true. There's no way that's fucking true.
So, 2014, unfortunately, we do not have a Roger Ebert review for this movie.
Are you fucking kidding me? When did he die?
2014. I don't know if it was before or after, or if he was ill during this movie, but there's not a Roger Ebert review.
God damn it! Ebert would have been great for this fucking film.
Oh, I would love to hear what he had to say about this.
I'm the most upset I've ever been about not having a Roger Ebert review.
This one's not bad though. I think you'll like this one.
Let's hope so, because I'm fuming right now.
This is not someone who loved the movie. Let's put it that way.
I wouldn't assume Ebert would either, so let's go.
This is Richard Corliss from Time Magazine.
Okay.
In a review titled "The Monster Gets a Reboot and the Filmmakers Booted It."
Okay. Good title.
He calls it an expensive, lazy remake.
Okay.
This is a fantastic summary of the movie. Godzilla dawdles towards its doomsday climax. This movie could win a prize for least stuff happening in the first 2/3 of an action film. He goes on to talk about the visuals are cool. The sound is pretty good in here. As good as Godzilla looks, he gets very little screen time. Godzilla isn't even the monster. He's a referee, a rival, or an enabler. We won't say which. When not fighting to keep the world from ending, Ford, who's the main character in this movie, is shepherding lost children out of peril. The cheapest strategy for an audience's sympathy. But you're no more interested in the people than the screenwriters were. And I saved the best of his excerpts for last.
Okay.
For purposes of reproduction, the male gives a female a nuclear warhead, which she inserts in her body, leaving the moviegoer to wonder, is she using the warhead as a suppository or a dildo?
I thought the same fucking thing.
Was that her ass or vagina?
Whatever it was, it felt good because I saw the size of that nuke.
So, sorry there wasn't a Roger Ebert review. I hope that was good enough to get you off the ledge a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little off the ledge, especially with the ending depository or dildo line. Honestly, if you put dildo in your review, I'm probably going to like it.
That might be the first movie review I've ever seen with the word dildo in it.
Fair. Me too. But just know, movie reviewers, you put dildo in your review, it'll probably be on this pod. That goes for you, IMDb user reviews.
We're going to have to start control Fing for dildo. How'd it do in the box office?
In fucking credible.
Ugh.
In fucking credible. Its budget was $160 million.
God.
Adjusted to inflation, because 2014 to now is big enough that we need to do this, $200 million.
Yeah, that's big enough. That's 20%.
Yeah. Opening weekend, it made more than half of its money, $93 million, or $116 million today.
That's a huge opening weekend.
Huge.
$100 million worldwide gross is pretty good. It damn near made that opening weekend.
Yeah. Worldwide gross, speaking of which, in 2022, $662 million. So
fuck off, people who paid money to see this.
In 2014, it's $529 million. Fucking ridiculous.
Ugh. Well, I think we've already kind of teased our discuss of this movie. So, Jacob, give the people a little peek behind the curtain on why we chose the 2014 classic Godzilla.
It was all my fault, 100%. I love the movie Godzilla King of Monsters that came out in 2021. Love that movie. I thought this was that movie, and I was excited because you're like, I fucking hated Godzilla. And actually, you didn't say you hated Godzilla. You said it was so unmemorable, you remembered nothing about it. And clearly, me too, because I misplaced it with the wrong fucking movie.
And then you texted me at some point.
Like, I think I was like 35 or 40 minutes into the movie.
And you texted me, hey, do you want to change?
No, what I texted you is, dude, you're going to hate me. I picked the wrong movie.
Because I was an hour and 20 in when you texted me, and I was like, no, we're doing this movie. I don't give a shit.
And by an hour and 20, it's a fucking slog.
Oh, God.
It's a fucking slog. I just hated this movie. It was garbage.
Yeah.
This movie was utter garbage.
There's no way around it. This movie is a mess, and it is a boring mess.
I think you said there's a first, second, and third act, and they're all separate movies.
None of them flow together at all.
No. And like you said, it's a boring fucking mess.
Yes.
I was at the end of the movie, and I paused it because I wanted some munchies. And there was 26 minutes left in this movie, and I'm like, fuck me.
But you're like, at least I'm going to get this big Godzilla fight at the end. Let me get some snacks for the big Godzilla fight at the end.
Yes, that. But even I was like, God, for real, 26 minutes? Like, I'm dying here. And then I watched a Godzilla fight scene, which was okay.
We'll get to it.
It wasn't great. And then I had to press pause again to use the bathroom, and there was still 10 more minutes left. And I was like, that's the longest 16 minutes of film I've ever fucking watched. Oh my God. What's your review of the movie?
It's a mess. It's a boring mess.
Yeah. Anything you liked about it?
The visuals in it, the CGI, the monsters look great.
Oh, the special effects were phenomenal.
The monsters look great. The score's really good. The way they utilize the score, the way they utilize the music, the sounds, top notch. Good job. I kind of enjoyed the first 25 minutes of the movie.
Well, and I remember talking to you today, and I said, I wish we had started watching this movie at the same time, because had I remembered it by minute 35, we probably could have started over on the other movie. And you're like, no, 35 minutes into this movie, I was liking it.
Yeah, the Bryan Cranston storyline was great. I really enjoyed that. Cranston's obviously a top-notch actor. Really good stuff in that first 25 minutes. And then, well, we're on what we liked. So anything to add?
No, I agree with everything that you said. What I didn't like was everything else.
The entire last hour and a half of this movie.
All of it. It's so bad. This is the second time I've watched this movie, and I will never watch it a third time. I've been very vocal on this pod about how much I hate the movie Lady Bird. Didn't even fucking finish it. If you sat me down and you're like, you have two choices. You can restart Lady Bird and watch it to the end without getting up, or rewatch Godzilla for a third time. Press play on Lady Bird, motherfucker.
we'll watch a teenage coming-of-age movie.
Yep.
I'm fine.
Yep, 100%. Want to add anything else to what you didn't like? Actually, there's one more thing. I was going to say this for character breakdown, but fuck Elizabeth Olsen and her as a mom.
She was such a great mother for 3/4 of this movie.
And then she was like, hey, kiddo, you remember my friend from work you've never met? Go with her. Why not go look for your dad? I know this is super traumatic. I know that I've been freaking out that your dad may have died and you're in a very terrible emotional mental state, but fuck you.
And your dad's probably dead. So how about me and you separate too?
Yep. Fuck her. We'll get to that later, but fuck her. That's what I hated about the movie more than anything.
So there's so many narrative dumps in this movie that are completely unnecessary. They spend 20 minutes trying to describe Godzilla. I don't give a fuck. He's a mutant nuclear lizard. Let's go.
Yep.
Stop trying to scientifically explain something that can't be scientifically explained.
Yep.
I don't care. Stop it.
100%. Like, let's just get on with the movie and watch shit blow up. Honestly, that's why I'm watching a Godzilla movie.
I definitely thought some of the stuff from the first Bryan Cranston act would show back up in the movie, and they'd kind of tie it together and we'd go full circle. Nope, never happened.
Nope.
Didn't understand any of the characters' motivations. Could not, outside of Bryan Cranston, don't know what motivated any of them.
Nope.
Not a single character develops at all in this movie.
Well, Ford wanted to save the world.
Whatever. but bottom line, it's such a messy movie. I believe there were 4 screenwriters on this movie, and it shows because there was no common thread for this entire movie. I hated it. I fucking hated it.
Yeah, this movie was awful. This movie was awful. But every movie has 4 scenes that we choose.
Yes, it does.
We call that the Mount Rushmore scenes.
All right. 4th favorite scene for me is I'm going to go with the train track bombed on the train getting attacked, whatever the fuck happens in that scene.
Okay.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Say it again.
The train track.
Oh yeah.
When the military's on the train track and
yes,
they get attacked and Ford is the lone survivor.
Okay.
It was kind of like a I love when action movies put that horror element in it, and they did it here, and I thought they did it really well. I don't really know why Ford was the only survivor. I don't really know how he survived. I don't really care. This is not a great scene, but I have to come up with 4, so this is my 4th.
I mean, it's a pretty good scene for number 4. That didn't even make my list, and it should have. My number 4 scene is Bryan Cranston trying to save his wife.
Oh, the kind of opening. You had the credits roll with all the 1950s footage and stuff, and then at the nuclear power plant.
Yeah, the scene was really intense for me. I thought it was really well acted. I mean, of course, it's Bryan Cranston. You get his wife finally gets to the door after the door shut, and they're able to look at each other one last time. I thought that was touching. I thought it was emotional. I thought it was intense. And then the final door closed, and it was just like, wow, this movie. If this movie goes on like this, it's gonna be good.
And here, that's the perfect scene. Is I thought we would come back to that, whether it was Ford or Elizabeth Olsen or the professor, the doctor that that's studying everything. I guess he's not a professor; he's just got a PhD. But I really expected someone to do that heroic thing of, I'm not going to make it. Make sure you save everybody else. Don't worry about me. Spoiler, it doesn't.
Yep.
That scene, as powerful as it was in the moment, meant not a goddamn thing to the rest of the movie.
Nope. In fact, Bryan Cranston dies 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this movie. Your third favorite scene?
My third favorite scene is when Ford goes back to Japan to bail Bryan Cranston out of jail.
Okay.
And when they go and they're going back to the old house, and they get arrested, and he's trying to explain himself, and he seems like the crazy conspiracy theory nut, but he was right the whole way.
Hell yeah.
How focused he is on trying to figure out what killed his wife. By far the best acting of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's Cranston.
If I had to pick another Bryan Cranston scene, it would be that one.
Yeah.
Because that was incredible.
So I was really enjoying the movie at this point.
Yeah. My third favorite scene is the San Francisco scene. That whole last monster fight segment.
Okay.
Like I wanted it to be better.
It starts with the Golden Gate Bridge scene.
Yeah, with Godzilla just walking through it like a fucking house. And then, the Mutos, is that what they're called?
Yeah, sure.
The Mutos, how they can just like cancel energy and all the fighter jets just falling. I thought that was fucking awesome. I enjoyed the handicap monster fight 2 against 1.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Big tail whip into the building. I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted more out of the monster fight, which is why it's number 3. I was actually going to put this at number 4, but action scenes for me in an action movie that they went up over the acting.
The airdrop was cool.
Yes.
The airdrop was cool in that.
Yeah. I love the way that Godzilla killed the female, just atomic breath down into her fucking soul and then decapitated her. I was like,
yeah, he blue flamed right down her throat.
Blue flamed right down her throat. Yes. That is the quote of the pod.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Blue flamed right down her throat. That's what she said. Your number 2 favorite scene?
Hawaii.
Yeah,
so Godzilla coming up on shore, the high tide, low tide, tsunami, the airport scene, him doing what's right and getting the kid back. The only problem I had with that is the parents couldn't have gotten a thank you scene
right
from the parents there.
Right.
It just kind of ended. Like the kid just ran off to his parents, and I'm like, that's it?
Yeah,
that's it?
That's all we fucking get? I just rescued your kid. Like, you were on the same island I was. You saw the same shit go down, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, both of them run up and give Ford a great big hug. Like, something.
Honestly, your kid should be dead.
Yes.
Because nobody else was looking out for that fucking kid but me. And there was one moment where I could not have caught him, maybe.
I wouldn't have been able to. I was holding on.
Hell yeah.
But still, all in all, really cool scene. Really cool disaster movie scene.
Yeah. I lied to you. My number 2 scene is actually the train bridge scene.
Oh, okay.
Your number 4 scene. Other than the wife dying, for me, that was the most intense scene.
It was very intense.
Them laying down on the bridge.
It was horror movie-ish.
Very horror movie-ish. It was incredible. Love that scene. I mean, that's all I have to say about it. You already knocked it out of the park with that scene.
It's a pretty short, quick scene.
It is. Your number 1 favorite scene?
On the island where they have the nuclear power plant and the reveal of the first Cujo, Muta, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
And being that it wasn't Godzilla and it looked really cool, that's when I really noticed how good the CGI was. Completely frantic running around. I thought they got some really cool shots. Spatially, I was a little confused in this.
Sure.
But the reveal this long in, where they finally reveal a monster and it's not Godzilla, I thought was really cool. Because I definitely thought
the first monster you'd see would be Godzilla.
And it wasn't. And it looked great. It looked cool the way they showed it moving. It was a really cool scene. And at this moment, I was like, pretty good little start we got going on to this movie.
So this is the peak of this movie for you. This is the apex point of this movie for you.
Yes, the apex point of the movie is 25 minutes in.
The 35 minutes.
Okay.
In. 35
All right.
minutes in. But still, I mean, it's a 2-hour movie and the apex is 35 minutes in. But fuck off.
And it's clearly the apex. It had my third favorite and my first favorite scene kind of back to back in one scene and never gets close to that mark the rest of the film.
So my number one favorite scene is a little later, and for me, it was the apex of the movie. It's the Hawaii scene.
Still kind of middle of the movie.
Yeah. The tsunami, it got me. I was like, ooh. And then this scene is the first time we get a full body shot of Godzilla. And it starts at his feet, and it slowly works the way up, and then you finally see Godzilla. I thought that was way fucking cool. I enjoyed the fight between the two monsters. I love the power coming back on and the train just going straight into the monster. I was like, this is fucking awesome. For me, that was the apex of the movie. My favorite scene of that movie, my favorite part of that scene, like I said, is seeing Godzilla in his full glory. And I loved how they did it with the use of the red flares. I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, the military stuff in this too, where of course the American military thinks they can just shoot their way out of everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing? Stop shooting at it.
Yeah.
It's clearly not working, dumbasses. Any other honorable mentions you want to add?
No, I mean, you hit him. The acting from Bryan Cranston and, like, what was it, your number 3 favorite scene?
Yes. Yeah.
That's my only honorable mention. This movie was such garbage. I had a hard time coming up with 4.
I did too.
If you have a 2-hour movie and I have a hard time coming up with 4 scenes, like, you did a bad fucking job.
A 2-hour action movie.
Yeah.
And we're having trouble coming up with 4 scenes. And I kind of split one scene into 2.
Yeah.
And usually I cheat the other way.
Right.
I combine like 2 scenes into 1. I had to split a scene in half in order to get 4.
I had to cut down my Mount Rushmore scenes in Batman and Robin. Like, that's how bad this garbage of a movie was. So no, we're good on the Mount Rushmore scenes.
All right, movie-related talk then?
Wait, I have a question before the movie-related talk.
Okay.
When did you officially check out of this movie?
I know the exact moment I checked out.
Okay.
Go with my friend from work. At that moment, I was fucking done with this movie.
Me too.
I was like, this is not who this character has been the entire movie up to this point. What happened? I'm done.
Yep. Me too. That is the moment that I was like, this sucks. Like, it can't redeem itself. There's nothing it can do.
It's bad. And it wasn't because like, yes, it was a shitty thing for her to do, but it was just the fact that this is not who this character's been the whole movie prior to this. Where did this come from?
Right. Now it's time for movie-related talk. What is it, BJ?
Let's talk about how much exposition dumps you want in a movie, especially a sci-fi movie. Because this is essentially a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
So this movie had obviously way too much. How much do you like?
Less than this. A lot less.
I think Star Wars does it perfectly.
Uh-huh.
You know, it starts out long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I don't remember the exact thing. The rebels are fighting the blah, 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 whatever. Perfect. Cool. I'm all caught up. I know everything I need to know. Yeah, the Force exists. Okay, what is it? Some people are born with these powers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. On. Let's go. Let's keep this moving. I don't care how they're born with it. I don't care if it's genetic. I don't care.
Yeah.
So generally less is more. You can go with too little, but if I'm watching a sci-fi movie or a movie about a giant mutant lizard, it's not going to be scientifically accurate. Stop trying to make it scientifically accurate.
Yeah, I just thought of this. You know what other movie does too much of that too? Is the original Lost in Space.
Yeah, I can agree
with Gary
with that.
Oldman.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need to know all that stuff.
Alien's got a good amount.
Alien's got a good amount. The Thing has a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
What other ones do it too much? We need one more.
I think the Hunger Games does it too much.
Okay.
The first one, I don't really know about all the other Hunger Games movies, but the first one, I feel like, I get it. I get it. It's divided into districts. The districts aren't fair. Like, let's move on.
I've never seen it, but there's no doubt in my mind that this movie does it because it was written by L. Ron Hubbard, Battlefield Earth of John Travolta.
Never seen it.
I haven't either, but there's no doubt in my mind that movie does that. No doubt.
So essentially what we're saying here is less is more.
Yes.
We understand. Look, this shit ain't real. There's going to be things that you can't explain. That's fine. I don't care. I know this isn't real.
Yep.
And they did so much time explaining that. And then it's like, oh, the Multos put out an electromagnetic pulse, but Godzilla doesn't. What?
Why?
Well, I don't get this.
After everything you've explained, go ahead and explain that one.
Yeah, go ahead, because 30% of this movie is exposition dump.
Yep.
Fuck, I hated this movie.
This movie was garbage.
You want to break down the characters?
I do. 100% I do.
Who do you want to start with?
Let's start with the bitch. Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah, the bad mom.
Like, she's not
that's the only reason I call her a bitch, is because she's a bad mom. If you're a bad dad, you're also a bitch. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
And she's not a bad actor in this movie.
Nope.
In fact, I think she's kind of wasted because she doesn't do a whole lot. And she's a good mother for 3/4 of the movie, and then just, bye, kid. I'm going to wait here for your dad who might be dead, or is she waiting for the patients because she's a nurse? I don't fucking know. I don't know her motivation.
Nope. I know it's shitty.
Between her and Ford, the theme of this movie might be fuck your family, focus on your job.
Yes.
It seems like in this movie, your job is more important than your family.
100%.
Which is a wild ass theme to go to in a movie, but whatever.
Especially monster film when families are just trying to save families.
Yeah, it's a disaster movie. That's the whole, you're saving your family. That's what you do in disaster movies.
I have a question for Ellie. Is that her name? Ellie?
L. I think it's L.
Whatever. I have a question for L. If Ford is dead and you died because of this monster fight, who's going to take care of the kid?
I have no idea.
Okay.
This part made absolutely no sense.
Okay.
And it's not Elizabeth Olsen's fault. She's a really good actor.
Ford. Is he the only guy in the U.S. military that knows how to disable an analog timer on a nuclear warhead?
Apparently. Because no one else could. He had to go with him.
Come on.
I didn't understand what he did.
I
didn't understand why he was the only one that did it. This guy has had so much traumatic shit happen to him. He's the most emotionless son of a bitch I've ever seen.
Yes.
This is a movie where he should have so many different emotions from so many things, and he has none.
Not one. And it's mind-blowing.
He needs to see a therapist.
Yeah.
Like, he's clearly not processing emotions properly.
No.
Like, his dad dies, and he doesn't give a shit.
He's just like, yep, dad's gone.
He's like, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't listen to what he said.
Speaking of dad, Joe Brody.
Bryan Cranston.
First movie he did after Breaking Bad.
Oh, because this was like the peak of Breaking Bad.
This was towards the end of it.
Yeah. Well, the peak of it was.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. He was never more popular than in 2014.
Correct. He killed it.
He did. I don't know why he had to die.
I don't either.
Because it didn't elicit emotion, and it didn't have anything to do with any part of the rest of the movie.
He could have been there the entire time in the ship with the generals and the scientists.
And if he is going to die there, Ford should be like, look, I grew up with only one parent. It's hard. We've got to survive this. Me and my family, that's all I'm worried about. I don't want my kid to grow up like I did with only one parent.
And if for some reason I don't survive this, let me get on the phone with my wife and be like, stay with our fucking child.
Yes. Hey, call out sick for work today. Don't show up. There's a EMP monsters coming to San Francisco.
What? Just trust me. Dr. Sari Swanza.
The exposition dump master of the movie.
Yes. I feel like his character could have been so much better.
Yes.
It could have been so much better.
And again, this is not the actor's fault.
No. It seems like he did a pretty good job with what he was given.
There should have been so much stuff going on in his head. He should feel responsible for what is happening.
Yes.
They were so worried about studying it, and you kind of have a Jurassic Park thing where it's like, we were so busy wondering if we could figure out what this thing is. We never thought to think if we should figure out what this thing is.
Ooh, nice throwback.
Thank you. But that wasn't in this fucking movie. He was like, oh, yeah, this thing will take care of it. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
What do you do? Why are you in this movie so much to be like, oh, yeah, this giant alpha predator will take care of it. Don't worry.
We're all gravy, baby.
God, I hate this movie.
Speaking of hating this movie, I have so much trivia.
One thing, shout out to my boy Jared Case. How do you pronounce his name? Kesso from
Letterkenny?
Yeah. Yeah, he's the jump captain or whatever he is.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Shout out to him.
Yeah, watch Letterkenny if you haven't seen it. If you're American, throw on those subtitles. You're gonna need them.
Especially if you're from the South like we are.
100%. If you're from Michigan, Wisconsin,
Buffalo,
New Hampshire, you don't need to throw on subtitles. You're good.
Us Southerners have no clue what they're saying.
BJ, you ready for all the trivia I have for this movie?
I hope the trivia is better than the movie.
The trivia is so much better than the movie.
I
actually had a lot of fun doing the trivia to this movie. Yeah, the trivia is fucking awesome for this movie.
Give it to me.
So I'm going to start with Godzilla throwback trivia. Dr. Hiroshi Swanza was named after Hiroshi Honda, director of Godzilla 1954, and Dr. Daisuke Swanza, one of its main characters.
I haven't seen the original 54, I'm assuming black and white.
No, it's not black and white. It's on HBO. We should have watched it. We should have started with the original.
Anything other than this.
Yeah, this was, again, garbage.
Boring garbage.
Godzilla is covered in keloid scars, which are raised thick patches of the skin. The original Godzilla 54 was heavily scarred to evoke the gruesome marks borne by the survivors of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings.
Mm-hmm.
Toho Studios provided sound engineer Eric Adail, sorry if I butchered that, guys, with the original 1954 recordings of Godzilla's roar. He upgraded the roar to a more organic, contemporary sound. Haruo Nakajima, who portrayed Godzilla in a suit for the original Godzilla, stated that he immensely enjoyed the film.
This film?
Yeah, a lot of the original creators and Japanese people really enjoyed this film because it paid good homage in how it was shot and how Godzilla showed up and everything else of the original.
Okay, and just subtitle it, and they don't have to worry that the script is absolute trash.
Correct. The little boy getting separated from his parents in the train harkens back to when Fumiko and Kaozu were separated in King Kong versus Godzilla in 1963. Even his getup, the shirt, shorts, and baseball cap, is evocative of the Showa films. Whew, sorry. If y'all can't tell, I don't know Japanese. Barely know English with that E word in there. Godzilla being an ancient beast from a time when the conditions on Earth were severely inhospitable, and his conflict with other monsters from the same time period references Godzilla Raids Again from 1955. In both, the military attempts to lure fighting kaiju away with a fake-out plan, which falls apart, also somewhat similar from the original Godzilla, in which Godzilla is believed to have evolved from a hybrid species of dinosaurs and prehistoric sea reptiles.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. It's a giant fucking mutant lizard. Let's go. I don't care.
All right, so regular Godzilla trivia for this movie. Godzilla on the medieval art of sea monsters shown in the prologue. It is implied that this individual Godzilla has been alive for at least several centuries, and the sea monsters spoken of in myth and legend were in fact sightings of him. I'd have been cool if they focused more on that with the exposition dumps.
Yeah, that's fine, but at the end of the day, I don't think either of us care.
No,
because it's not going to be totally factual anyway. So
no, but I like the myth of the Loch Ness monster and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if they just would have focused a little bit more on that than some drawings in the opening credits.
Drawings were pretty cool, true to science type drawings.
They were.
Yeah.
I just would have enjoyed more of that.
Yeah.
Originally, Dr. Sarah Swanson was to introduce the titular monster as Godzilla, but Ken Watanabe wanted the filmmakers to use the original Japanese name of Gojira. Gojira. Which, for all my metalheads out there, it's a pretty dope French metal band called Gojira.
Good metal band name.
Yeah, great metal band name. According to Gareth Edwards, Godzilla's design is inspired by bears and Komodo dragons. In particular, his face is influenced by the heads of bears, dogs, and eagles. Edwards said that the eagle has a lot of nobility. It made him feel very majestic and noble.
Yeah, the monster looked cool.
Yes.
I didn't have a problem that they didn't reveal the monster until like the movie. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
It's
everything else in the movie.
Yes.
It was a boring slog of a shit action movie.
Yes. So here's the problem. It's partially a monster movie. It's partially a disaster movie. And it's partially a sci-fi movie. And it doesn't know which of those it wants to fucking be. Pick one.
Yep.
Pick one.
It's okay. Just pick one. Gareth Edwards described Godzilla as an anti-hero. Godzilla is definitely a representation of the wrath of nature. The theme is man versus nature, and Godzilla is certainly the nature side of it. You can't win that fight. Nature's always going to win, and that's what the subtext of our movie is about. He's the punishment we deserve. I did not get that subtext at all.
In fact, I got the opposite of that.
Yes.
I got I got that this was kind of like a anti-climate change movie, where it was kind of like, oh, no, it's okay, humans, do whatever you want to do. God or Godzilla will fix it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. He'll take us back to where we need to be. We might lose a lot of shit, but we're good.
Yeah, we're fine. Don't worry about it.
According to Gareth Edwards, Godzilla was also inspired by the 2003 film The Last Samurai. Quote, he's an ancient warrior who's the last of his kind, and his kind has long since died out. He lives a very solitary, lonely existence, and he's very happy to keep away from everyone. But we keep doing things to force him to return and put things right.
Whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the dumber ones, but...
that does not go along with the last thing he said.
It does not. No.
Which is a perfect microcosm of this movie.
Yes.
Nothing links up together.
Nope. Nothing makes fucking sense. Godzilla first uses his atomic breath 100 minutes into the film.
Okay.
Yep. Godzilla's atomic breath is a less concentrated solid beam that explodes like the 80s to 2000 movies, but more of a whisper heat wave like the earlier Showa movies with him in it.
Yeah, the blue flame was cool.
100% it was. Godzilla's design face is shaped very squarely. Its neck is broad and has shark-like gills, making this the first Godzilla design to feature gills. His eyes are small and a golden yellow color, and his teeth are small and not nearly as straightly lined up as in previous Godzilla designs. The head and neck seem to lean forward more, and the nostrils are more separate, being on opposite sides of the snout and making him more reptile-like instead of the more mammalian fashion of being close together. in the front compared to past designs. According to Andrew Baker, the filmmakers studied the faces of dogs, bears, and eagles in order to make Godzilla's face look more noble and majestic, yet not too cute or threatening.
It's a predator. The eyes should be close together.
Yeah.
Your eyes get far apart when you're prey and you need to see everything. When you're predator, you just need to focus on something and go.
Yep, right ahead of you. At 355 feet tall, a full length of 550 feet and 2 inches, and a weight of nearly 90,000 tons, this is the biggest and heaviest Godzilla that has ever been portrayed. And he looked awesome. The CGI was incredible.
Yes, movie. The monster itself was cool. The script is the problem.
Yes.
After talking this through, it's a dog shit script.
Yes.
Like, they should have seen this script and immediately thrown it the fuck away.
It could have been a really cool movie.
Yeah.
Special effects trivia. The sound designers used a 12-foot high, 18-foot wide speaker array to blast Godzilla's roar at 100,000 watts to get a good idea of his vocal power and strength.
It showed off. The audio was really cool.
Yes, audio was incredible. While shooting this film, cinematographer Seamus McGarvey accidentally went to a lakeside set of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which was shooting nearby and looked very similar to the set of this film. He described walking around with his light meter, not recognizing anyone, as a surreal, dreamlike experience until he realized his mistake.
I can see me doing that. I've been going over here for 2 weeks.
Are you ready for this one? This blew my mind. The film contains 960 visual effect shots. The 3D model of Godzilla, made up of 500,000 polygons, appears in 327 shots. Had the graphics been rendered on a single computer, it would have taken 450 years to render.
What? Wow. I don't know what to say about that.
That blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, everything about this movie is totally in the special effects and the look of the monsters.
Yes, and they did a great job. Can't reiterate that enough. This one blew my mind too. Sound designers Eric Adeli and Ethan Van der Ren were tasked with paying homage to it while revamping it and creating something new. According to Gareth Edwards, they spent several months over the 3-year production experimenting with different techniques, such as a pine tar coated leather glove on a double bass trying to match the initial metallic shriek, the following wail, and the finishing bellow of Godzilla's iconic roar. Using microphones that could record sound inaudible to human ears, the team recorded hundreds of sounds at 192 kHz sample rate before slowing them down to an audible range until they stumbled upon the combination that gave them goosebumps. The final version that was created was the 50th the team produced. The pair tested the roar on a backlot at Warner Bros. Using a 100,000-watt Tor speaker array for the Rolling Stones. The roar was so powerful enough to rattle pipes and rooftops and was estimated that it could be heard up to 3 miles away. For this experiment, the crew actually sent out flyers to surrounding communities, warning the neighbors about the potential sound disruption. Despite these preventative measures, however, Burbank PD started getting calls and people were tweeting, "Godzilla's at my apartment door."
Yeah, people are dumb.
100% people are dumb. But 3-year production, 3 miles away, fucking mind-blowing.
Like, clearly a lot of work went into this movie.
Yes.
And it was such a dog shit script that ruined all of that great work that these people did. And I'm so pissed off about that.
Right. Me fucking too. Now for all my random trivia. I'm going to finish with random trivia. Some of these you're going to be kind of upset by. Shortly before release, many Japanese fans... this is the most 2014, 2022 modern day shit I've ever read on trivia. Shortly before release, many Japanese fans began to complain that Godzilla was, quote, too fat. Many American fans retaliated with anti-fat shaming comments. The cast was even asked about it during the Hollywood premiere. Most of them joked about the fiasco. Luckily, there have been reports of other Japanese fans defended the design, stated that Godzilla actually looks proportionate, explaining that he would need a big torso to hold up his own weight.
Well, and he's got to hibernate for hundreds of millions of years at a time.
I also didn't think he looked that fat.
I don't really care.
I don't either, but after reading that, because I read that before Godzilla showed up, so I was like looking for it, and I was like,
first of all, I didn't know you could fat shame a fictional monster.
Like I said, it's the most 2014-22 shit I've ever read. The United States Marine Corps declined to participate after their experience on the 1998 TriStar film. The United States Navy cooperated with this production, though. According to Bryan Cranston, Gareth Edwards was inspired by Jaws. The film does not immediately show the beast, but rather builds up to his appearance while still delivering an eerie and terrifying off-screen presence. The Brody family is named after the Jaws protagonist.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Cool. Also, the problem is they show Godzilla after both of us had already checked out of the movie.
Correct. No, that's not true.
Oh, you saw him in Hawaii. That's true. That's true.
The skydiving sequence was actually shot by a real-life team of professional skydive photographers led by Norman Kent and Craig O'Brien.
That was a cool scene.
It was a wicked scene. This kind of upset me because I feel like the script may have been doctored had this happened. Guillermo del Toro was considered to direct, but he was busy with Pacific Rim at the time.
Pacific Rim's a better movie.
Yes. And this would be a better movie with del Toro.
Yes.
The movie was so successful that 2 sequels were greenlit 2 days after the premiere of the film.
As shitty as this was?
I mean, you heard the opening numbers.
Yeah. That's all that matters,
and
right?
Let me tell you, the sequel, King of Monsters, we will be doing it on this pod, blows this shit fucking movie out the water.
Okay, it can't be, like, honestly, I don't know how much worse it can be.
Right. Like, it literally has to be better. In San Francisco, Ford Brody climbs aboard a boat labeled Go Whale Tours. Godzilla's original Japanese name, Gojira, is a combination of gorilla and kujira, the Japanese word for whale.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Kind of a gorilla whale combination.
Uh-huh.
All right.
At the premiere of the film, some Toho executives and staff members were said to have broken down in joy at the portrayal of their property, Godzilla, in this film. Japanese liked this film, and the creators of the original really liked it.
Okay.
It makes me want to see the original.
Yeah.
The film takes place in 1954, 1999, and 2014. Exposition dump, my friend.
Yeah.
The film's budget was more than the 1998 film's entire domestic gross.
That one's pretty bad.
Real bad. That one might be worse than this one.
Yeah, but that one is actually, like, so bad. I think there's parts that are kind of charming for how bad it is. There's nothing charming about this movie.
No.
There's no charm whatsoever in it.
At all. One of the main criticisms of this film was the lack of Godzilla himself, despite it having over 12 minutes of screen time. This is actually one of the highest amounts of screen time for Godzilla in a Godzilla movie. Many people criticized this teasing as boring and unfulfilling, while others praised its holding back of the monster as references to how the shark from Jaws was teased until the end.
My boringness has nothing to do with not seeing Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually one of the better parts of it. It's just fucking boring.
Yep. It's just a bad script.
Yes.
Godzilla and the monsters were cool.
Yeah.
Strangely, for Godzilla villains, the Multo are portrayed with a hint of sympathy for their plight. They are not outright evil or malicious creatures, merely animals trying to survive and raise a family in a strange, hostile world. A fact emphasized by scenes of the affectionate courtship and the mother Multo mourning the destruction of her young.
The dildo suppository scene.
Ba-boom! Matthew Broderick played a scientist in Godzilla and was reportedly considered for the role of Walter White on Breaking Bad, which is ultimately played by Cranston, who also played a scientist in this movie.
Engineer.
Whatever. Science of math. Engineering, science of math. New t-shirt idea. Because it's wrong. Bryan Cranston had to wear a wig for his scenes due to finishing Breaking Bad days before filming this movie. Cranston was initially ready to decline the offer after being approached, assuming the film was going to be silly. However, director Edwards' passion for the film and his previous film Monsters impressed Cranston enough to read the script and join the film. Despite his positive opinion on the film, Cranston would later opine that killing off Joe Brody early was a narrative mistake.
Yes.
I can't believe he read the script and thought it was great.
He might have just read the script that he was in, the part that he was in.
That's fair. That happens a lot in movies. Bryan Cranston has said that Gareth Edwards' approach to the film to its characterization is what drew him to the project. He stated, quote, "The most important thing about this version of Godzilla is the characterization. The characters in this are real, well drawn. Edwards takes the time to really establish who these people are, that you root for them, that you invest in these characters, and that you care for them. That's the best part."
I rooted for none of them. I cared for none of them.
Yeah, Cranston's straight up wrong. I told you you'd be upset about some of this trivia. I wouldn't be here if it was just, look out, this monster is crushing everything, instead of trying to humanize the beast. What this film does, and I think rightfully so, is humanize the people. You root for them and sympathize with their plight. Cranston also joined the film because he has been a fan of Godzilla since childhood, stating, "Godzilla was always my favorite monster when I was young." He was unapologetic. That last sentence was the only thing that made sense from him.
Yeah, the characters, they
Garbage.
make no sense.
Yep.
They have no motivation. They have no redeeming qualities. They seem to change at the drop of a hat, yet still don't develop.
Honestly, I'm going for the monsters. The only human that I'm going for is the kid that got abandoned.
Yes. The only well, I cared for Cranston and his wife at the beginning.
Sure.
But the characters that made it all the way through.
That's not even part of the movie.
Yeah.
This is a reference to another podcast. That's not this one. This podcast, in my opinion, straight got this fucking wrong. But the Now Playing podcast reviewed Godzilla, and this film received 3 recommendations. Spoiler alert, you ain't getting that here.
No.
Like, what is the Now Playing podcast doing? What movie did they fucking watch?
I have no idea. The movie is a mess, and it's boring. Like, nothing makes sense at all in this movie.
I've never even heard of that podcast, and now I want to listen to at least one episode. Probably the Godzilla one. Probably not.
I mean, like, I guess if you're only focused on the CGI of the monsters and the score, it's great. Anything else, it's a mess.
Yep.
It's a straight up mess. There's so much going on in this movie, yet nothing is happening. The characters change so much in this movie, yet they don't develop. There is essentially no emotion from a single person outside of Bryan Cranston in this movie. Is that it for trivia?
No, I have.
Good. God, this is long.
I have 2 more trivias. So we're almost done. The news report at the end of the film reads, "King of the Monsters." This is a reference to the subtitle of the American version of the original film, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 1956, as well as an anticipation for Godzilla, King of the Monsters, 2019.
The one we should have done.
Yeah, which I said was 2021 earlier. It's a 2019 movie. It was incredible. I can't wait for you to watch it. It will redeem Godzilla for you.
That's going to be hard to do after this.
I know. We'll wait a little bit. We'll let this be forgotten.
Okay.
Are you ready for the last one?
Sure.
It's gonna upset you.
Fine. I'm already upset.
I saved this one for last. So Juliette Binoche, I think is her last name. I'm pretty sure she played Bryan Cranston's wife.
Okay.
Quentin Tarantino admitted to crying during her character's death, stating it was, quote, the first time I've ever cried during a 3D blockbuster. Now, granted, at least that happened in the good part of the movie.
Yeah, I'm not that upset with that.
Okay. I don't know if with how bad this movie was, if I was Quentin Tarantino, I don't know if I would have said that after this movie. I just probably would have kept that shit to myself.
So I have always had an issue with the Bambi's mom dying thing. When someone dies 5 minutes into a movie, I'm like, I didn't fucking know him.
Yeah, me. There's no emotional connection for me to you.
And I'll cry during a movie, like no doubt about it.
I notoriously cry during movies.
But 5 minutes into a movie, I don't know the character well enough to cry. Maybe I'm the weird one. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not that upset with that one.
Okay. It's because it happened during the good part of the movie.
That's true.
If you started crying during the bad part of the movie, you'd be like, fuck this guy. That's my trivia and facts. There is 154 listed trivia and facts on IMDb.
Read those instead of watch the movie. That sounds way more fun.
Read those and listen to this podcast instead of watching this movie. This movie's garbage. Don't waste your time. Let us waste it for you.
Yeah, we wasted enough time. Here you go. You're welcome.
Yep. What's next?
Impersonations.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I know it comes after trivia.
Yeah. So we're going to do
our best Godzilla roar?
We can do our best Godzilla roar.
I was kidding.
Let's try it. No one heard the shitty Jurassic Park one.
Okay. We're still going to do the other idea.
You know what? Let's just do the other one because it took them 3 years to get Godzilla's roar right.
Yeah.
I don't want to make them feel bad when I nail it in this impersonation in 2 seconds. So
that's fair.
So we're going to do our military briefing impersonation.
Okay.
Because good God, there's a lot of them.
Yes. BJ, the floor is yours.
Listen up. I need you guys to listen. We got IUDs inside the PUS. We're going to go TLC. We're going to chase waterfalls and get that BLM and move on to the SEC. Big 12.
That was good. I loved all the acronyms. Because if there's one thing the military loves more than its weapons, it's acronyms.
Oh, good God. So many acronyms. That's what I was going for that on that one. But the floor is yours, sir.
All right, guys. Here's the deal. We got a big cunt of a monster coming in, and we got to blow this bitch up the good old American way. I don't know any other way to do this. We got a couple nukes. We got SEAL Team 6. We got 82nd Airborne. We're getting this shit done. Dr. Sarazanza, whatever the fuck your weird-ass name is, I'm not letting them fight this shit out. We're blowing this shit up. And if anyone ain't with me, too bad. I'm general in charge, motherfucker.
All right. That was good.
Thank you.
That was good.
Final thoughts on the movie. I think we've reiterated enough. This movie's fucking garbage.
Yes. It's too good to be charmingly bad or ironically bad. It offers nothing.
No.
Maybe if you're a big CGI sound FX person, maybe it's enough to keep you interested. It was definitely not for me.
No.
All right. So the monsters look cool. The CGI is great. The score is great. The first 25 minutes are pretty good. The rest of it is such trash. But I got to give it something because it does have some good qualities. 3.8.
3.8?
3.8.
That's higher than I thought you were going to go.
There are. I got to think of. I'm not a big CGI guy.
Okay.
But I do have to respect
the
CGI and the look of the monsters and all the work that went into this shit.
100%.
That was absolutely torpedoed by one of the worst scripts I've ever seen.
100%. Okay. I'm going to go with a 3.2.
Okay.
This movie was garbage. I didn't get any of how good the score was. I didn't even notice because everything else was so bad.
Yeah, okay, fair.
But the CGI and the special effects and the sound, all incredible. And that gets like 3.8 stars out of me. Sorry, 2.8 stars out of me. And then the rest comes from the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
So 3.2. This has to be the worst movie I've ever seen.
And the worst part is it's an action movie, and the action scenes aren't even good enough to, if it's on, sit and watch it for 5 minutes because you know a cool action scene's coming up.
No.
Like, they're not even good enough to do that.
I'll never turn this on again.
Never.
Nope. Shoot me now. Should they keep making these? The answer is yes.
They've made, what, 15 Godzilla movies?
Something like that. And the one after this, like I've been saying throughout this entire pod, King of the Monsters is fan-fucking-tastic. The new King Kong movie was great. Like, I like monster movies. They're fun. If they're done right, I've seen them done right. Just do them right.
Just figure out your script.
Yeah. Don't do an exposition dump. Like,
all the time.
Just figure out your script and make a good movie, and I'm down to watch it. I like shit blowing up. I like shit getting destroyed. And I like people having no fathomable way to win.
Yeah.
And you get all that from here. Keep making them. Just figure out how to fucking do it. Are you ready, BJ?
Sure.
These are the good and bad reviews off IMDb.
All right.
From people like me and you.
All right. There's good reviews, so it can't be all people like me and you.
That's true. I just mean people that aren't critics.
Okay.
So this is a 10 out of 10. I can't even say this guy's name. HD19. You know who you are if you listen to this pod. It's titled, Why So Much Hate, ... Why Again? ? People who don't like it should go and check their eyes. Visual, 10 out of 10. Audio, maybe 9 out of 10. Doesn't matter. 10 out of 10. Story, I would seriously give it a 6 out of 10, but the message is clear. Nuclear equals bad. So, 10 out of 10.
Was that the message?
I don't know, but to him it was clear.
The message was absolutely super cloudy for me. I'm assuming it's an anti-global warming, like, don't worry about it, God will save us. But whatever.
Actors, like, seriously, Aaron, epic.
No.
Brian, epic.
Yes.
Elizabeth, I didn't heard of her before, but she's darn cute and talented. They all played very well. You can tell it's kind of hard to send these emotions while watching a green screen, because that's what they were doing while shooting this movie. They were watching a green screen where Godzilla or Multo should have been, and they must have looked surprised and scared, and they did a great job. Plus, you have a couple of epic moments with atomic breath. When Godzilla's spine starts to turn blue, I lost my shit. Roars, they're there. Oh God, yes they are. 3D IMAX was beautiful. Go and watch it. And I hope these guys are going to make another Godzilla movie. It seriously made me become more obsessed with the movie and the character itself. Godzilla.
So I haven't brought this up, but I was extremely underwhelmed with the final monster fight. They were all moving way too slow. It's like when you get the WWE match between the two great big giant guys, and you're super excited because you see them against small guys and they're throwing them all over the ring, but then two big guys get in there together and you're like, oh, they don't move very well.
Yeah. You get Big Show and The Undertaker in a ring and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah, The Undertaker moves pretty well in his heyday.
Yeah. Okay, how about we go with The Big Show and Kane?
Yeah, there you go.
Because Kane's just big.
Right.
The Big Show's at least talented.
Yeah. It didn't deliver. It was too slow moving, and it was like, oh, a tail whip into the building did it. Great.
I think one of my favorite things we do on this pod is how much we reference wrestling.
Yeah, we'll start a second wrestling podcast.
Fuck yes.
Let us know if you guys want that.
You have a favorite quote by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that fits well in this podcast.
Oh God. So I'm quoting Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and I might get him canceled for this.
This is not a BJ joke. This is height of the Attitude Era.
But you can look it up. The Rock is on a mic, and he goes, "You didn't understand that? Let me say it in Chinese. Ching chong bing bong, I kick Stone Cold's ass. Aye!"
So awful.
It's
so awful. And yes, I realized he was making a Chinese joke and Godzilla is Japanese, but it's still fucking funny.
And please don't cancel The Rock.
Or us, for that matter.
Check out that clip, though. I don't know why it makes me laugh.
Because it's fucking funny. My bad IMDb review comes from heart_McBlue17. 1 out of 10. This is a bad joke, ... First, I need to tell that I'm from Central Europe. I do not normally write reviews, but I can't be silent. This was terrible. This was the first time when after a movie, everybody was talking how bad it was. And by everybody, I mean the whole cinema. The first 20 to 30 minutes were watchable. I was looking to be a solid movie. But after that, everything goes wrong. And I mean everything. Bad dialogue, good music in very bad moments, and several styles of it. Main character, immortal. American style, happy ending style. No logic in this movie anywhere. Many mistakes noticeable for everyone. When I was watching Sharknado, I was less shocked by stupidity like in this movie. It is a waste of your time and money, and watch it only when you want to punish yourself.
I 100% agree with that review.
Everything he said, I'm right on fucking board.
He's like, I can't be silent.
like, I'm not kidding. When I paused and saw 26 minutes left in this movie, I was floored. And then I paused to go pee, and there was 10 minutes left. I've already said this before. I was like, Jesus Christ. That's the longest 16 minutes I've ever sat through.
It drags.
The question of the pod. Should people watch this movie?
Absolutely fucking not.
Please don't.
Listen to the pod. You will enjoy that hour and 15 minutes much more than you will enjoy watching this piece of crap for 2 hours.
He misspoke. Piece of shit. How was your first time, BJ?
Not great.
No.
Not great.
This was bad. This was really bad. Please don't watch this movie. Follow us on our social media at IRMFT Pod.
That's right.
Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
You know what episode we have next? Because we got to get this taste out of our mouth.
What?
The actual classic. The most quotable movie of our generation. Anchorman.
Fuck yes. Anchorman, here we come, baby. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.